It is, 4:07. We will not be calling the Park Board regular meeting to order, but we will be allowing presentations with no action being taken. So we'll begin with the Memorial Park Skate Park presentation from Jake and team, and we'll move on down the line here.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Yep.
All right, great, excellent. Thanks so much for having us again, and being willing to hear our latest proposal for the skate park project. As you know, we met last time to request some funding, and we understand that there's no funding right now for the skate park with new construction and such, like you guys mentioned, which is totally okay. We have, as you know, we got a decent amount of money from the state grant. So we are looking at moving forward, and we're looking at getting approved so we can do like a phased project. So we can start construction, hopefully bidding this year, and then start construction in 2027 in hopes of hitting our financial goal before the construction starts. And essentially, the idea is to start the phase one, do what we can, and that would be skate park construction, and then the lighting conduit for future lighting. And then of course, phase two would be the rest of the skate park. We want to hit it like 1 million, 1.1, something like that, around that. So for the skate park itself. So we'd finish construction after we have the funds raised for that second portion, the phase two, and then phase three would be doing the skate park lighting over the following years. And we could do one a year, we could do 2 lights a year, and we could kind of create a plan for that. But of course, first would be getting the skate park fully funded. And then of course, we will continue to fundraise through 2027. And then moving forward with construction phase one, we are really hoping by getting approval that'll kind of start jump-starting some donations from people, some big names, maybe we talked to you guys in the past where you'd be willing, seemed like you guys were willing to allow us to name the skate park by like a big funder, and generating funds through those means with the skate park going forward. So we are hoping to get you guys approval. It sounds like we're no approvals this meeting, but we want to put a word out there to see if you guys, when ready, are able to approve this and move forward with bidding and construction. So that's kind of what we're thinking.
Sure. And like I said, I don't know if we're allowed to comment, ask questions during the presentation, or?
You can make comments and ask questions.
So, yeah.
You just can't take action.
Yeah, very good. So I think, me personally, again, can't really speak for literally anyone else, but, I think the plan, the phases are great. I'm on board with this. I think Andrew had expressed that he was interested in moving forward with this as well. Obviously, we can't move forward on any of this, but yeah, I think when we meet next, I really like the plan. And yeah, we had spoke about that too, getting sponsorships and across the system, trying to fund some of these projects specifically for this. So as long as they kind of fit our design standards and the things that that we want to have on the fences, and whatever paints and stuff like that you want to have on the surfaces, I'm all on board with finding funding that way as well. So
cool. That is awesome. I appreciate your support. I really do. And of course, I know you can't speak for everybody, so thanks for hearing us out anyways. And I know you've always been a huge support, so we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Did you have any questions on the skate park and all? Comments?
I like the concept, and doing it in phases just makes sense. As you get more money, you can add on to it and make it what you want it. So I'm all for that.
Very good.
Cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you guys have anything further you wanted to present? Paul, do you have anything? No? All right. Yeah, no, like I said, I appreciate the packets, a little bit more detailed, everything. I mean, it all makes sense to me, so very, very easy to review. And again, I have to imagine we'll probably again, I don't want to speak. You have 2 yeses at the very least for when we speak next. So, but yeah, we'll move forward, and I appreciate you guys coming in and presenting again. Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate you so much.
Right. Yeah.
I just wanted to give you a quick update, some items that staff has been working on with this. We did reach back out to the county regarding the second access point. I'm not sure if that's going to be something that's going to be amenable to them, but we are talking with them about a second access point on Mill. And we are also talking with Trent about putting together some preliminary cost estimates for what using some street lighting would be for the facility. Now, understanding that street lighting is not necessarily designed for this type of facility or its intended purpose, but if it's something that the park board would like to consider, we're working with them to get those numbers, and likely would be something we would present at a future meeting when these plans get a little bit more concreted.
Very good. Appreciate you guys working on that behind the scenes as well. So I'm trying to get a grasp here because you're just presenting on a permit, right? Is that what?
Technically, yes.
Okay. And that would have, I guess, been before the skate park. So I'm going to have you come up and do your presentation for that. If you'd like to still. You're welcome to wait till the next meeting.
I'm going to wait
Okay.
until the next meeting.
Very
and
good.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I guess Paul, is your all that's left for is this Paul presenting today? I mean, if you'd like to, and everybody can review it, in their when they're laying in bed, restless, they can hear your smooth, dulcet tones. So let it rip.
So we did receive proposals. The park board previously saw an RFP that went out for a consultant engineering and architecture pool. We received proposals back on March 4th for those services in the 15 service categories that were identified in the RFP. I think the 2 that probably pertain the most to the park board, I think, was category 13, which was kind of the architectural pool, and category 14, which was like the parks, master planning, landscape design, that kind of stuff, more park-related items. But staff did go through. We received 33 proposals back from interested firms with that solicitation. We did go through and score all those RFPs. The final roster that staff is recommending to both the utility commission, the park board, and the city council is found on the last page of that agenda request, or I guess on that sheet right there. So obviously the 15 service categories, a lot of the stuff doesn't really pertain to the park board, but again, as I kind of stated when we were looking at the RFP for this, it's really to get consultants identified in service categories, get them under contract with a master services agreement, and then when projects come up that fall within these categories, we're able to just issue task orders to one or multiple of these consultants and use more of the lowest price methodology after this is basically a qualifications-based scoring process that we went through. So we feel that these consultants scored or had the best proposals in those couple of categories, and staff would be looking for a future motion to approve that formally. This is planned to go to the council on May 4th, and so we can certainly bring it back at a future date to have the park board take action, but the council approval on May 4th is our next step in this process.
Very good. Any questions for Paul? Very good. Me neither. Alrighty. No more presenters, I'm guessing. So we'll call her there, and we'll stab again. Oh, Curtis, if you'd like to present, come on up. Let her rip.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm actually here presenting not on behalf of Rosalini's, but I'm actually presenting on behalf of the Northeast Association that we have started. I have talked to the park board more than once about the fact that there is talk about destroying the parking lot at Memorial Park, which I understand it's in rough shape, and that there's talk about it being put to gravel. I'm not sure if there have been any estimates or bids or anything as far as getting it paved would go. And the reason that I'm kind of talking about this and bringing this up, and I don't even know if it's something we can do, but with the association, we are talking about possibly planning a parking lot party this summer. And with that, we talked about possibly actually turning it into a fundraiser at the same time, partnering kind of with the city on that and getting those bids and things like that. And to see if we can raise some funds to actually keep it paved instead of to gravel. And a parking lot party at that time would show exactly what other purposes it can be than just a parking lot for the community as a whole. And so I talked to Kayla a little bit about it, but we're not sure exactly how the city could do this, if the city would be allowed to do something like this. So this was just me presenting an idea that possibly we could go down this rabbit hole, see if it works. I think that having it paved opens up a lot more use for other things than just a parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have used it in the past for like trunk or treat and stuff like that too. So, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think that's one of those things, again, can't take official action, but I mean, we can at least, I would figure, explore the idea of what we would pass on, right? So,
Staff can work with Curtis to put together a special event application, put something in front of the park board in regards to the improvement project. Right now, it's not scoped until, or budgeted till 2027, so it can be a discussion item. If they wanted to pitch a project to the park board, it's not much different than what Advantage Home Pros is doing over at the Lum Park Arch right now, as they're donating that work. So that can always be a proposal for them to present to the park board in regard to a donated project for that instance too. So that's an option as well. So we can work with him on putting together the details to put in front of the park board.
well, I'm going to say I don't have to necessarily, I mean, this would be a public forum situation anyway, so I think we can just kind of tell staff to explore this option for us.
And that's really all
Sure.
this was about me coming here,
Yeah.
was just to present the idea to see if we can explore it. If it's an option, great. If not, it is what it is. But at least, I'd like to put forth that effort to try to collaborate with that association to help save that parking lot if we can.
Yeah, if we can do it. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. At least taking a gander. So I'm not sure. Can I call this thing to order now? Or yeah, all right. Well, I mean, like I said, I appreciate it. We'll have staff at least take a look at it. Put everything together for the next agenda item and see what we can at least scope out.
That's
'Cause
all.
Again, we're not that deep into this process anyway. So
Well, and it sounds like we've got some time on it. It sounds like
Yeah,
it's kind of
little bit of time.
not an immediate thing, which is good. So,
Yep.
okay, perfect.
Very good.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
awesome. Thanks, Curtis. All right. Well, we're here. We're ready. And I'm going to call this thing to order, and we'll start with roll call.
Burns. Mickelson.
Here.
Powell.
Here.
Miller.
Yes.
Shipe.
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On to number 4, the approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve in a second. Any discussion on the agenda? And again, just kind of for anyone coming in late, we've done a few of the presentations already, so we will not have our presenters go a second time, but we'll fill you in if you have any questions. All in favor of the agenda, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We have an agenda. Moving on to the consent calendar. Notice to the public, all matters listed are considered routine by the board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless good cause is shown prior to the time the board votes on the motion to be adopted by roll call. You have a presenter for, I guess, which item was it on the consent calendar that?
I'm not on the consent.
Oh, you're not on it at all. Oh, an actual item. Okay, yeah. Like I said, there was a lot of event approval. So, be looking for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Lisa, please call the roll.
Mickelson.
Here.
Powell.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. All right, we have a consent calendar. So we'll move on to the public forum. The time allocated for citizens to bring matters not on the agenda to the attention of the board. Time limits may be imposed. We'll open it up at 4:22, and Curtis already spoke, so we will close it at 4:22 and move on to unfinished business. So 7A was the recommend authorization to apply for special appropriation action, application for the Memorial Park Skate Park. Dave?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if you now could make
Yeah,
action or take.
we can
action.
take action. So, just a brief recap of the presentation. They're moving the skate park along in phases. They have kind of laid it out inside of the packet. We can table this and move on to the next, move it forward to the next meeting, just so you can be caught up to speed. But otherwise, what we saw is they're just moving it into separate phases to try to stretch out, since we denied additional funding to that. And so they're gonna work through and just do it in phases and get the lighting and funding over time. But if we approve it, allows them to seek larger sponsorships and things of that nature throughout the phases, so. And actually, I think we still got Paul on board, so if you have any questions for Paul, you certainly can ask.
I'm here if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Mr. Miller? So just to highlight, at this time, what staff is really looking for is direction that Park Board supports the phase construction as they proposed, and it would be the last attachment to this item. And then further to direct staff to complete the application, which we would then return at the next meeting to sign off on the actual application itself. So right now, we're just looking for approval of that phased plan
So if you're
and to
taking a
direct
gander
staff
at
to
that
prepare
one
the
real
application.
quick. Then otherwise, yeah, we'd be looking for a motion to.
I'll make a motion
To approve the preliminary phase, yeah. so.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second on the preliminary phasing of the skate park and direction of staff to look for the deed funding. Any discussion on this one? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Well, we are moving forward with this thing. Thanks again, Paul, for sticking around. I appreciate it. Moving on to 7B, the 2029 Professional Engineering and Architectural Architecture Services Pool, an on-call roster. We did explore this. Again, Jesse's just kind of, or not Jesse, Paul just put together a comprehensive list of everything across the city system. So a few of these things pertain to us. So they are just looking for the approval of this services pool.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on this one? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We'll move on to 7C, discussion and approval of new memorial benches. Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So based on the direction from the park board, we have worked with two vendors to kind of put together a couple different options for the park board to consider in regards to memorial benches. The first option would be from Bedford Industries, or these polyscape benches, as they're labeled, come in at about roughly $1,425 per. And we kind of describe some of the options, and then the attachments kind of illustrate a little bit of that. The second option would be through St. Croix Recreation, who we're obviously very familiar with a lot of our playgrounds and stuff. Similar thing, we talked about a bunch of the details and options included in there. Listing price on that is about $998, or just under $1,000 per. So we're really looking for direction from Park Board on who our preferred vendor would be. Based on cost, our recommendation would be St. Croix, but if there's specific features that you would prefer one or the other, we would look for that direction from the Park Board.
Thank you, Jesse. Any questions for staff or comments about your preference?
Can you pull up the picture of the St. Croix one again?
Max, it was the first one that you had. That one, yep.
I guess that personally, I like the St. Croix one better than the polyscape one,
Yeah, and I think the only thing,
appearance wise.
yeah, and the only thing I was kind of wondering was like so we have an option between putting a plaque on this or just flat engraving it. is my understanding. Okay. Because, yeah, I think, internally, we were just looking to make sure that we had kind of the same look and feel, because I really actually like our current benches. So if we can kind of make them close, I think this was my selection too, but I just kind of understand the plaque versus engraving thing, so. Other comments or questions for staff? If not, we'll be looking for a motion to approve either of the two bench options.
I'll make the motion to approve the St. Croix benches.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion on the bench situation? Hearing
Mr.
none,
Miller?
all in, oh, Jesse.
Can we just receive a little bit of extra clarification in the motion, whether engraved or plaque?
Oh,
I
yes.
would do engraved, I guess. I like that better.
Yes.
I agree.
All in favor of engraving the St. Croix benches, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. We have engraved St. Croix benches.
Just out of question, as far as the engraving and then in memory, is there a set amount that like a family or organization comes to the city and says, I want, Mr. Jones, John Jones, and then they pay, is it a set amount then that they pay for the bench or for the engraving process, or is it like how much you write, how many letters?
So you can see it in the option. So the bench cost itself is $1,000.
Okay.
That doesn't include the actual concrete below it too, which we've standardized of putting a concrete slab underneath. And then further on top of that, they would essentially pay for the $35 setup per line as well as the $6 per letter based on that. So
If I'd looked at the
that'll,
screen.
depending on the message that they're looking for,
Yeah,
that'll be the cost. We'll give them a proposed cost when they approach us and ask for
Oh.
whatever it is.
I just think that's a great way to do it.
Dave.
Yeah, just two things to remember. We do not let people pick specific places. So we have, in our policy, it is the park board or staff will choose placement. And then also it is for the useful life of the bench. So you are purchasing the bench as is, and then once that bench has reached its useful life, we're not just doing benches in perpetuity. Although a memorial is in perpetuity, we will remember forever.
We
But
will
the
remember
bench
forever.
will
We will
eventually-
give you the option to renew your bench at the end of its lifespan. Very good.
There is a lifespan.
Continuing on from the item, we will go to 7D, updates to add to the park board calendar. Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So request from Park Chair Shipe in regard to the proposed park board calendar. He wanted to see if the park board members had any additional items they wanted to add to the calendar. We did add the draft of the calendar to the agenda item. So we're looking for direction from the park board if there was any additional calendar items that they'd like to see included in there, whether that be projects or topics or recurring items.
Very good. Thank you, Jesse. Any additions for staff or thoughts on the calendar? I thought we added kind of all the ones that we were looking at, I believe, from the last one that we felt like we were missing out on. So I liked that. I believe we did that, right? Yeah, just all of the things that we talked about the last meeting, they're on here, right? I
Not
thought I
on
skimmed
this.
through the notes. What's that?
Not on this one. I haven't been able to
Oh,
update it
okay.
quite yet, but I do have a list that
Okay.
I'm going to update.
I was like, I couldn't find it in the minutes, but I didn't look that hard. So, all right. Yeah, I think for me, it was just the additions that we kind of talked about last time and the kind of the rough timelines. Again, the fee structure and a few of those other pieces of planning. I think, when we're looking at individual parks and things like that, that's going to come down to probably some sort of workshop in the future of everyone being assigned parks to split the payload and stuff like that. But I think for like a concrete, like month by month, over the course of the 12 months, this plus those additional items were what we were looking for. Dave.
Yeah, I know we have separate maintenance reports from time to time, but it might not be a terrible idea to have a couple of maintenance points put directly on this as well in terms of
Yeah.
conversations about specific pre-summer, post-summer.
And I was actually gonna bring this up later, but it does kind of work with this, and I thought like the maintenance report specifically about the ice that we're gonna get to a little later, or that's, you know, at least reviewable, very great. And I think that does alleviate the necessity for that sort of thing, like legitimate hurdles that staff has that we can continuously work through on a monthly basis. Maybe there's a conversation about like a quarterly checkup on some of those things, or end of season checkup on some of those major like maintenance problems, like, hey, we ran into the ice issue. I mean, we can't control the weather, but what can we control? And were we able to accomplish that or set a plan forward? Maybe that was a conversation that we could have quarterly, but I don't know. I mean, we're kind of just getting to that point now where we're starting to understand some of the maintenance hurdles right now. So I think leaving it to staff to kind of give us these types of things, and then, you know, as things progress, maybe we can talk, you know, every 6 months or a quarter or whatever it might be, about those maintenance issues. So, because this is the first real, to me, this is the first real communication of, hey, we had a problem during the season. Here's what we experienced. And so, I mean, and again, it was pretty detailed. So I, you know, like I said, I appreciated that. And so we can kind of review next steps and how we want to review those types of maintenance requests as they pile it up.
Yeah, I just think that at some point, that should just become standard operating procedure.
Sure, yeah.
When we get to the end of the winter, we talk about what went wrong in the
Sure.
winter.
Yeah.
You know, when we get to the spring, these are the things that we're putting into place. And then that way we tend to be behind the 8 ball more often than we should be.
Yeah, I think it's just really trying to figure out a cadence for that, right? Like, you know, what does this look like on like if we're getting a monthly, like every month we're having some sort of maintenance hurdle, then I think it's kind of a conversation that we need to lump in together and maybe do every 3 months. But if we're only getting one at the end of season, you know, maybe we're talking every 6 months, maybe we're talking at the end of the year, whatever it might be, or previous season.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of it more from a staff perspective.
Sure.
Of just so they're aware, when we get to this point, we should have something prepared.
Yeah, and like I said, I think this was a great step, and again, we'll comment on that later, but I mean, this is, yeah, as far as a schedule is concerned, or consistency, or something that we need to talk about with maintenance-related issues, this will suffice. If, you know, but if the cases start to build up, maybe we have a conversation about those maintenance issues at a more like, again, special workshop, or, you know, an agenda item or something like that. So I think with the calendar as is, and then with the additions from the previous meeting, it's a great foundation for that. So any further direction needed from staff?
We're just collecting feedback
Yep.
at this point to put together a final draft, I guess you'd say, for park board approval and adoption.
Sure. Very good. Okay, very good. So we will move on to 8A, the approval of music in the park at the Gregory Bandstand. So we'll start with Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we received a request from the Friends of Gregory Park. They'd like to host several performances at the bandstand location in Gregory. They've first requested that they utilize the actual bandstand itself, and then they requested that the park board waive fees associated with the reservation. That letter request is attached to the item. Friends of Gregory Park is also here for questions from the park board and present to the park board. Just want to note there have been damages from vandalism to the bandstand, which is why it has remained closed to public use. We have reached out to WIDSETH to revisit the facility study that was done several years ago to relook at the facility and provide some recommendations. So that proposal will be likely, we're hoping, at the next park board meeting for consideration. As of right now, looking for direction from the park board regarding the request for the reservation fee waiver. Obviously, we have a lot of people that ask for fee waivers, so this is something that needs to come from the park board. We cannot waive that. And then use of the Gregory Park, or not Gregory, the bandstand facility itself. As mentioned, we would recommend that it does not get used for public use at this time until we can get a thorough evaluation done on it. So for the purposes of this, we would recommend not. We are working with the city attorney to draft up more of a formal agreement, similar to some of the other agreements that we've had done recently, to formalize the relationship with the Friends of Gregory Park and the use of the facility for their recurring event. And with that, I'll leave it up to any questions, as well as the Friends of Gregory Park if they have more to add to the park board.
Okay, we will just start with any questions for Jesse, and then we will go there. So, yeah, staff is just like dramatically concerned with the safety, or, I mean, we just are like not 100% sure because it's been a lot of years since the Widseth.
I think because of the damages, that's why it has stayed closed. It has not been used by the public during my tenure as Public Works Director.
Sure.
I'm not sure if the work was done to address this, as far as I understand, with Mike Havagorst at the time. But yeah, to my knowledge, nothing's been done to formalize a capital repair project on the bandstand. But it is something that we want to take a look at for putting a proposal together to get somebody in, get eyes on it.
Questions for staff further? All right, well, let you, if you'd like to present, come on up and give us some deets.
Thank you. My name is Natalie Schifferl. I'm here from Friends of Gregory Park. I really appreciate you guys hearing me today. I just want to start out, and I know I had this in the letter, which I'm assuming you guys have read, but I have 7 artists ready to come and perform at the bandstand at Gregory Park. It will be no cost to the city. We are asking for a waiver or reduced fees. If that's not approved, we understand and we'll come up with that money as well. We want to bring the community events back to Gregory Park. The center used to do this for years and years. We want to use the bandstand because that's what it's made to do. We want to honor the history of Gregory Park. We want to bring the community together again. We have, like I said, 7 concerts between June 4th and August 27th currently scheduled, ready to go. I would love to enter into an agreement for longer term. I know that wasn't something we could get done before the first concert series of the series that we have, which is on June 4th. I remember last year, and I don't remember which event it is, but I remember there being somebody playing in the bandstand last summer. I don't remember if it was during Brainerd Night Out or Arts in the Park, but I remember there being somebody up there. So I don't know that it's in as bad shape as the city staff is potentially worried about. I'm happy to meet with city staff there and with anybody from the park board who wants to be there to go through it and see what issues there might be. And if there are issues, we'd help fundraise to solve those issues. We want to be able to use the bandstand as a bandstand and to serve the community. We're not looking for anything out of this other than to bring music back to Gregory Park. And I can also answer any other questions that you guys have.
Good. Questions immediately for Natalie?
No, I personally like to see it back there too, being a resident of North Brainerd. Yeah, to see that bandstand actually be used again. I know since I've lived in North Brainerd 5, almost 6 years, you know, the bandstand hasn't been used and it has been used for years. But it'd be nice if we're gonna have it there, we should utilize it because it is kind of a staple of the park. But yeah, no, appreciate it.
It is a very unique piece. And I do remember, that's what I thought too. I thought this had been used before, like very recently, for some event. And again, maybe Dave, you can speak to it, but.
We asked for permission a couple of years ago and received permission to use the bandstand, and we have been using it for Arts in the Park every year.
Okay, so it was Arts in the Park. Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And
Yeah, I had thought when I was scooting around there that somebody's playing music up there. So.
Yeah, we've used it for Arts in the Park my entire tenure.
Okay.
And I will say that we hope to use it again this year. I would also say that as the group that will be in charge of the insurance side of this, fully insured, you know, and if there's a waiver that we need to sign in order to have people up there, we'll gladly do that. But our insurance will cover any type of issue that could potentially happen. As someone that's been up there, the most dangerous part of that bandstand is the trap door. The trap door weighs about 7,000 pounds, and that's probably the most dangerous part of it. But it's an old wood structure. However, in terms of someone that's been up there multiple times, I've never felt unsafe. But we would be more than welcome to sign any type of waiver that would need to be done.
Very good. Any further questions for our presenters? Well, yeah, I was gonna say, I can give my opinion here. Again, usage here, again, I appreciate staff's input. I'm almost always in tune of just, if we're willing to sign a waiver to utilize these facilities, knowing that staff's recommendation that it's maybe unsafe, I'm all for it. We'll just continue to use the facilities if we're covered, if you guys are covered, and, the city is not gonna run into any sort of liability afterwards. let's wrap that thing up. That's my opinion there. And then, you know, as far as fee waiver, this is a tough one for me because I guess I don't know, is there a bandstand usage fee? I mean, do we have something for that? Okay, it's not one that's come up very often, so.
It's $50.
Oh, it is $50 for the whole day though?
For the day.
Oh, okay.
So it's not an unreasonable amount, but $50
It is
times 7
$50,
for
yeah.
a free concert series. That's why we're requesting
Yeah.
consideration of reducing or waiving it. But again, that decision is not going to decide whether we're hosting these
sure.
concerts. Our priority is hosting the concerts. We're just looking to give the money back to Gregory Park rather than.
And I think for us, again, a lot of the policy here has just simply been that if we can sign an agreement with these organizations to put on a thing, we're gonna let them use the space. So, if we can count on consistency there, I'm totally in sync with just having staff sign a formal agreement with the waiver, letting them utilize this. Again, they have to dictate their times and things like that, you know, in advance, whatever the arbitrary number is. If you guys wanna do it every year, then we just do it every year. But I'm still in favor of that. So, I mean, we're doing it with sports organizations. Let's get the neighborhoods involved. I'm totally okay with that and utilize our facilities. And it's gonna bring people into the park. So that's where I'm at. And that bandstand has not generated any revenue because, I mean, I assume you just rented out the whole park and not the bandstand. So I don't think that's generated any money in the last decade.
I will say, that I have never paid specifically for the bandstand. We do rent out the pavilion, as our
pavilion.
covering of the cost.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
which,
very good, very good.
Which is a higher than $50 cost.
Yeah, well, but they're just asked for the bandstand. So, again, for me, you know, as it sits right now for staff, we can just waive the fees. That would be my first start. Secondary step would be to get into agreement with Friends of Gregory Park to get this concert series a consistent staple in the city of Brainerd. So we'll work with staff on that, and then we'll just get a waiver before we, we'll try to get something done before the 4th of June so that we're completely off the hook for any trapdoor shenanigans. But certainly open to additional comments and then questions from staff if we have any.
Yeah, we would just look for direction if that's how the park
All right. Yeah, very good.
formalize it in a motion is
Very
what
good.
we're looking for. Yep.
I'll make a motion
Sure.
to waive the fees for the Friends of Gregory Park for use of the bandstand.
Second.
All right, motion and a second, and again, for clarification for staff, we'll do that, and again, I don't know, again, formally motioning to try to get them to, staff to put an agreement together with the Friends, yeah. So that in the future for the concert series, like even if we can get it signed this year, but maybe not necessarily for the first couple of concerts, if we don't have, you know, we'll get it done, but we'll get the waiver and the fees taken care of, and then we'll try to just have a consistent agreement so they can do this every year. So, second on that motion, yes. All right, any other discussion on the motion? Questions from staff?
Nope.
Very good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Let's do it. Sounds cool.
Does there need to be another vote to approve the special event permit since we don't have the contract finalized yet?
Nope, we're good. All right.
just wanna
That's
make
how
sure.
we're good. We're good. We'll take it. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we scraped it together, so we'll, better, relevant questions. So, we'll move on to 8B, the discussion and approval of security cameras. Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So as we've been looking at security camera replacement projects, we have money allocated every year to do replacements, and we have been reviewing those with PD as well as our IT departments. We did look at the recommendations that were brought in a previous meeting. We have had issues with areas where connectivity and reliability are a problem. So Evergreen, the Evergreen Landing, Rotary Park. There are areas that we don't have like fiber internet connection power to those. They become really challenging for us to put like a wireless camera with a cell card on it. The quality of that coverage is really it's not where it needs to be from like a PD enforcement standpoint. Really, we need a facility that does have like fiber internet, that does have power to it. What you'll see in here is we do have a couple parks listed, Memorial and Lum. Both have we just recently did extend a couple years ago fiber internet to the pavilion. So we do have accessible fiber internet. Obviously, there's power at that pavilion. Similarly, at Lum, we have fiber in the area that provides Wi-Fi for the campground. So we do have internet accessible there as well as power at the facilities. So those are a little bit more ready to serve in regards to security cameras right now. Some of the more remote areas like Rotary Park, Evergreen Landing, those are areas that we could be better served with essentially cellular game cameras that PD has dispatched in areas as needed. Gives them notifications. It's where somebody comes across the game camera, they get a notification. Really just indicates if somebody's doing something in a place that they're not supposed to be at a certain time, they can go out there and address it. Doesn't really help with the camera side of it. That's where the ones that like Lum and Memorial would be more beneficial. So really looking for a motion from the park board to prioritize those top 2 parks where we're essentially ready to serve in regards to security cameras and replacements, and then work with PD to address the areas at Rotary and Evergreen Landing with doing some of the more remote cellular game cameras.
Very good. Thank you, Jesse. Any questions for staff on this one? I think for me, it was just, the comment would just be that, if the police department has any input on this and this is what they're providing, I'm 100% on board with the location of this. And again, the logistics obviously are better suited at certain parks, and we'll continue to improve the others as we go along. So we'll just kind of scattershot it where we need to, and just utilize the police department's recommendation. But I'm certainly open to further comments or suggestions or a motion.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion to approve the proposed cameras for Memorial and Lum, and then the game cams for Rotary and Mississippi Landing.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the item? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We have some new camera locations. So we'll move on to 8C, the hydro seeding at Gregory Park. Jesse?
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So an item that was before the park board before was mayor's proposal to donate some materials and labor to essentially feather in some additional topsoil along some of the sidewalks in Gregory Park. We put together a quick proposal based on what he was proposing. So DeChantel would be providing the black dirt and being able to spread that throughout, and then city staff provide the labor to do essentially the seeding behind it. So based on what his proposal was, we did return with about what we're thinking from a materials and labor standpoint. So those 2 numbers are in here. Really, we're looking for support and approval from the park board to move forward with doing this work on behalf of Community Action that's coordinating kind of the donation. And we've indicated it also to Community Action, both of these estimates as well. And Mayor can definitely elaborate on the project further if you have questions.
Very good. Thank you, Jesse. Questions for Jesse or the mayor? Again, Community Action is footing the bill for this one.
Yeah, Community Action would fund both the cost of the black dirt and the spreading through DeChantel, and then the cost as presented from city staff. And obviously, we know that that's an estimate. There could be changes to that. Our 2 concerns, and just we want to make sure that it can get done in an amount of time that allows for us to have grass for June 28th. That is the main deadline for that. And then if there's a watering need, that we're at least aware, so we can try and figure out a solution for that as well.
Thank you. Questions for Jesse or the mayor on this one, or a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve it. Seems like a really smart plan.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions from staff? We can make that timeline, right? Yes.
I got one question
yes.
as far as watering, because I mean, I ran a hydro seeding business for 10 years, So, I mean, it does need to be watered if we're not getting a sufficient rainfall. So spring is obviously the best time to get growth. Is there a solution if we're in a drought this spring is what I'm, I guess, getting at.
That's something that our maintenance staff can take a look at. We do have accessible water at the pavilion. It's a little bit of a longer run, but I think we can make that work.
Okay.
Hopefully, we're still early enough in the spring that this is a good time for us to get seed on the ground, even with hydro seeding, that
Yep.
we should receive regular rainfall still. So we're hopeful, but we're not necessarily able to predict the weather either. So we'll just play it by ear at that point, and if we need to pivot and do some additional maintenance to do some supplementary watering, that is something that we can do.
Very good. Any further questions, comments on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Let's seat it up. Where are we at? 8D, the discussion and approval of Lions Park playground color preference. Jesse.
Thank you. Sorry, my Adobe was tripping out on me here. Before the park board today, we have a few different options for the proposed Lions Park playground. So we're looking for direction from the park board on a preference on a color scheme. Really specifically kind of that rubberized, harder surface within the playground. So we included a few different renderings of that. One would be kind of using that tan blends in with the kind of the wood chips as well as some of the harder features. The other option would be going with more of a dark green. Obviously fits more with foliage and some of the other railings and stuff like that. So we're looking for what a preference would be from the park board. We did include some other colors if there is a preferred alternative option other than those two, but really looking for that direction so we can kind of give both St. Croix as well as the Lions Club kind of direction from what the park board would prefer, so we can finalize the design and get kind of a stamp moving forward.
Very good. Questions for staff on the color scheme? Just a comment from me. Tan and green fits the color scheme, so I think staff's recommendation is correct on this one. Or we can entertain a motion to approve these colors if you'd like, or not approve them. As
Motion to approve the colors.
Second.
motion and a second, comments from Jesse.
Just direction on which color. So we can do green or tan. I mean, we can do a combination, but it costs more. But in regard to the hard surface, call it hard surface, the rubberized surface, looking for one or the other or a different color, but specifically tan or green. Staff does not have a recommendation one way or the other. There's merits and benefits to both. The darker green does cover up some kind of marks where the tan does blend in with the rubberized mulch. So there's benefits to either color, but we're looking for direction on which one you'd prefer for that rubberized surface.
Dave.
Does the green fade?
Both colors will fade. It'll help that it is in a shaded area, so the fading won't be as significant as compared to a kind of a full sun area. But yeah, that is going to eventually happen.
I guess I'd probably lean more towards the tan, just as far as that aspect of it.
Very good.
Yes, I think that would be the longest lasting and look the best for a long time.
So yeah, we are in agreement on tan. Any discussion on Dave?
Just two questions. One, do we know what the useful life of it is? Is it 25 years? Is it?
They've indicated roughly 10 years. Now, obviously, weather is a high variable on that. In a shaded area where it's not fully getting sun, it's going to last a little bit longer than an area that's in full sun. Obviously, depending on maintenance and use, that can wear and tear something a little bit more than one that has less wear and tear and use. The agreements that were approved at the last meeting allow the Lions Club to continue to contribute on an annual basis. That is something that they indicated with those agreements. They are putting in money specifically for the eventual replacement when the time comes due for that material.
I mean, who knows? In 10 years, we may have, spacesuits for all the kids. Who knows? My secondary question to that is, if we make this approval, I would like to see the park board put that into their design standards so that if you make this decision and granted that it comes out looking beautiful, which it will,
Yeah,
that we just put that directly into our design standards so that we know this is what we use.
yeah, I think I tend to agree with that. Yeah, the accessibility surfaces just being tan across the system. Yeah, that sounds good. So maybe just a slight amendment to the motion then, to direct staff to, add that to the design standards. That has to be you, yeah. Yeah, I have to
Add
amend
that
yours.
to the tan to the color design standards.
Then you'll have to second the,
Yeah, second.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the surface as tan and then apply it to the design standards as tan for accessibility surfaces. Any further discussion or questions from staff? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Got the surface, they can move it on. Golf program, right? Yeah, 8E, discussion and approval of new golf program at the YMCA.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So YMCA approached staff. They want to introduce a new program for the 2026 season. It's essentially a golf program for the youth, setting up kind of a temporary mini golf course. They are not looking for an amendment to the 2026 agreement, so they're not looking for additional funding or for this program. They are essentially asking us for use of the open space in Memorial Park to be able to administer the program. So that's essentially what we're looking for direction from the park board. If you would approve not only the YMCA golf program, but utilize the park space as requested.
Okay. And I think the only question I had was what open space specifically are they looking for? Do we know? Because Lisa's taken the soccer field area, and then we have some of the disc golf stuff.
It is the open space at Memorial Park, but it's during the day, so it will
Okay,
not.
so it will not conflict. Okay, very good, yeah. I'm on board with this one. I mean, especially just adding more programs and diversify. I mean, golf's hot right now, so.
First thing I thought was, I got two little boys that might like to
Yeah,
hit golf.
absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll be looking for a motion or further questions or comments about the program for staff.
I'll motion for authorization for the Y to be able to use that as outlined.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions from staff? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. We will administer or let them administer this program. Moving on to the approval of the agreement with Rosalini's Pizza. Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So we have an agreement before you. This one has been vetted through the city attorney. This kind of formalizes the arrangement that we had with Rosalini's for providing pizzas to our concession stands. It's really for the softball season. It may be for special events as well, but specifically for the softball season. Does lay out pricing, responsibilities, equipment that would be provided. So all the different pieces that we need to make sure that, especially for staying compliant with our Department of Health license there. So with that, we are, and just to highlight, we would be revisiting this agreement each year just to make sure that all the terms and pricing is appropriate for the following year. So this is be an annual agreement with Rosalini's as needed. So we're looking for Park Board to motion to approve the agreement as presented.
Okay, very good. Questions for staff? And I think, again, speaking to staff, we had this last year kind of as a non-formal thing, worked pretty well for our concession stand during the softball season, so I'm on board with this one, and we'll be looking for either a motion or questions or comments for staff.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Let's keep the pizza in there, please. 8G, the approval of date change for June Park Board meeting. Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Park Board Chair is not able to attend the June 22nd or 23rd scheduled Park Board meeting and requested an item here to discuss if the Park Board would entertain a change of date. He's not able to make the 23rd, but another option could be to back up the meeting 1 week to June 30th. If you're looking at a different date, or just move forward as scheduled and move on without Park Board Chair at that meeting.
Very good. I think I'll just start off. I can do the 30th of June. So if we have general consensus here that the 30th of June will work, I think, do we need we need a motion for that, right? Yep. We'll be looking for a motion.
I'll
Okay.
make a motion to go to the 30th.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion on the date change? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. June 30th. We'll move that to. And then finally, the discussion of the approval of 2 designs for Memorial Park.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. At the previous meeting, we asked for authorization to move forward with the outdoor recreation program through the DNR for the replacement of the Memorial Park playground. Before you have 2 different designs. Essentially, we're looking for approval from the Park Board on both designs, and essentially the direction we'll get is based on the solicitation results that we're thinking about mid-June. By getting approval on both, we can go pretty quickly. Once we find out the results of that solicitation, we can direct St. Croix appropriately to move forward with fabrication and production. The 2 options before you essentially are in either scenario. Option 1 is the smaller of the 2, priced with the intention of staying within the $100,000 budget. The second is a little bit more of a larger facility, a few more features to it, under the assumption that we would receive the DNR grant, thus increasing the total budget amount to $200,000. So both of these options are under either scenario. So we're looking for approval from the Park Board on the 2 scenarios and the 2 designs under the contingency of whichever one, depending on the grant solicitation results.
Very good. Thank you, Jesse. Any questions for staff on the designs or potentially funding from the DNR or anything else, or comments or motion? I thought the designs were pretty good. I like, again, coming with 2 options here based on how we're being funded. This thing needs to be done as soon as possible. So I appreciate having all the options laid out in front of us, and I think they look great. So.
I would make a motion that we go with the one with the DNR funding, the larger.
So yeah, what we'll be looking for in this, what staff's looking for is, if we can't get it, ideally we get the DNR funding, but if we can't get it, we'll go with option 2 for $93,000. So they're looking for direction on approval of both scenarios, with the priority being the one that's funded by the DNR if we are approved.
I would make a motion that way. It makes common sense to me, and hopefully the DNR comes through and get the bigger one, but it look like it will be a beautiful addition either way. Prefer the bigger one, but
I'll second that.
Motion in a second. Any comments or questions on the motion? Dave?
Just for my own purposes, is this about the size of the one at JC's?
Option 1, the one for the $100,000, that would be very comparable to the one at JC's. Obviously, option 2 would be considerably more.
Okay.
So and you can kind of get an idea based on that. That's roughly about what I think it said 53 for a kind of a user capacity. So that's roughly about what JC's is at right
Perfect.
now.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked very similar.
Yeah,
That's
the
a nice
100,000 is
park.
already pretty big. Yeah. So yeah, very good. Any further questions, comments, or questions for staff on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We got some playgrounds. So we'll move on to staff reports. Anything that you guys need to point out specifically, or questions for staff on the report? So for me, it was just honestly like the rink season report is good. I really, really, really liked that. I think again, when we go through kind of like the challenges are great and all of that. I just, again, what we're going to do, maybe have something a little bit more formal on these discussions. And then again, what we're going to do about just the actual ice problem continued still at Memorial, because that's a big rink. That's got to be the bulk of the traffic during the winter, without, Bain aside. We got to figure out how to make ice on that thing. And everywhere, obviously, but, specifically the melting problem at Memorial's got to be solved. I understand that costs money, but we got to have something together for that.
It is something that staff is looking at options. We've tried to do things like putting a liner down there, exploring paint. I know staff has also reached out to some of our other folks in the state about kind of similar issues, and there's not a real great solution other than a shelter to provide shade. So we're trying to find what options are out there to address this, and yeah, this one's going to be a challenge. I know we planted trees, but
Yeah.
we're really not going to see a result of some of those benefits for quite a while. So we're looking into options.
Yeah, and again, I understand you guys can't control the weather too, because if we were in a deep freeze the entire time, we might have been all right. But you know, I mean, again, the sun beating down on that thing's still going to be hard, and the ice is still going to be pretty melty. But I mean, yeah, you can't control the weather certainly, but yeah, it's just such a expensive facility that we literally can't use when it's designed to be used year round. So we gotta come up with a solution to that. Dave, I assume you have.
Yeah, I just want to see us figure out if there are other alternatives as well. I mean, I know that the door is an issue, right? So we can only make so much ice because of the door. I just want us to explore those options as well. Of what can we do with that door if that's what's causing us to not be able to do enough ice? Because obviously, if you put down 10 inches of ice, it ain't going anywhere, right? So what's the where is there a level that we could get to? Now we've got the summer to do it, but I really don't want us to get to another winter where we're again having these same problems, because that was a very expensive amenity. And at some point, and I hate to be this way, but at some point somebody has to say we screwed up, right? Because it's a hockey rink. It wasn't built as anything other than a hockey rink, and it does not function as a hockey rink.
And we have a warming house attached to it, so if we can't skate and we can't warm people, then the entire amenity's kind of in the grumper.
It's a $1.6 million facility. And I'm not, this is not against our staff. I'm just saying that at some point, something happened, we don't have a rink that functions. And so figuring out what that level of ice and if there's alternatives to figuring that out. I just want to see us get to a solution.
And I'm certain we have our best minds on it, but yeah, this one's pretty high priority for me coming to the winter, and we have a lot of time to figure it out. So we'll just kind of sort through it and do our best. But again, on the report side of things, like I can very much appreciate the season report on the winter, because again, before this, I didn't really, like me personally, I didn't know any of these sort of levels and that sort of thing. So this is very informative. About, again, and then the challenges that staff faces, because again, historically, we haven't got to hear those things unless it was absolutely dire. So, I mean, this is dire, certainly, but like knowing that, we face these challenges over the season and we maybe just need a hire to just make ice, or if that's a challenge that staff has, right? Or whatever equipment is necessary to make ice easier or in a more timely fashion, whatever it might be. It's good to have that information at the end of season. So I can very much appreciate the report.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. We don't have too many more updates. I have a few different pieces to update the park board on. If you saw the stakes out there, we have Doucette's that is out planting trees this week, specifically over at Memorial Park. So those are ready to go out there now. We have been working with TWM Architecture on the Lum Park shower building remodel. We feel like we are really close on getting a kind of a formal design to present to the park board. Happy to report that we feel like we have a solution to essentially have a separate shower facility for our campgrounders versus having a shared public restroom where there's the potential for damages from the public accessible side of it. So being able to separate those two facilities, which was a goal from a maintenance standpoint, to kind of protect one from the other. So I think we found a good amenable solution that works really well for that facility. So we're kind of finalizing some of the details, and I think we're meeting next week to go over those with TWM Architecture to kind of finalize that. So we'll get a final design in front of park board to stamp on. And then the other item, the ADA improvements, we did solicit for the Lum Park sidewalk. We did not receive any responses. Talking with Public Works Director Sandy, we are going to take a quick pause on it until we've awarded a couple of our construction projects. We feel like this may be a more advantageous process to take at this point. knowing we did not get any responses. Once some of the projects have been awarded and we have some subcontractors on those projects, maybe they'd be more interested in jumping on that project if they're already in town doing similar work. So at this time, we're going to pause on it until we get those bid out here shortly. Early May, I believe, is when those open up. And then potentially have a proposal in front of Park Board either at the May meeting or June meeting. But either way, we are going to revisit that. And it is something that I'm going to work with Paul on transitioning over with my resignation. So I do want to pass on. I appreciate being able to have the opportunity to work in the parks. It's something that I have a lot of passion about. So appreciate you giving me the time to be able to do the work that I was doing out there. So thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Any further comments about staff reports? Anything staff would like to fill us in on that was not in here? Again, great info on all of the events coming up, and apart from all the Hook people that wanted Hook for this movie. I mean, I'm glad you didn't get your way this time. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oof.
Just unbelievable. Hook,
Listen,
really?
I didn't realize we were almost going to have nap time at the park. Snooze fest.
It's unbelievable.
Snooze fest.
Yeah. Thankfully, Jurassic Park will be the movie. I mean, democracy wins yet again. So we'll move on to board member reports. I'll start with me. Honestly, so I've been doing the Mississippi, like just from walking from Lyman P all the way to Rotary. Just a few comments on that. Again, underneath the bridge, starting to get banged up again. So maybe we can get outreach to Ascension or whoever. I know they cleaned it up last time. Who knows if they're interested in doing it again, but starting to get a little bit of vandalism down there again. Apart from that, I thought, the actual walk down from Lyman P is looking very good. So I just want to comment on the removal of a lot of that stuff. The work that we did in the last couple of years makes it look really great on that walkway down. And then I think, again, apart from that, again, appreciate you, Jesse. I mean, you've been great this whole time. You've been really awesome. So I really appreciate having the opportunity to work with you over the course of the years here. So, and then I think that was it for me. I imagine we're gonna ramp up the trash can emptying in downtown here very soon. I believe that gets we're bumping that up here in the coming months. Again, a broken record, but
Makes sense.
I think and then aside from that, again, a lot of experience down at Rotary Park. I'm actually starting to kind of warm up to this birding deck. All right, for any Rotary members out there, I'm warming up to it. I mean, now that pump house looks absolutely heinous, obviously because it's in maybe the most deep, darkest part of the park. But that thing actually would be pretty sweet to have a birding deck. I mean, let's all be honest with ourselves. But again, the maintaining something fixture like that would be probably pretty not doable. Just given what that pump house looks like, but pretty radical back there, and that would be kind of a sweet spot. So.
What's your best bird?
The best bird?
If you're into this bird,
I'm not necessarily into birding yet, but right. It's one of those deals where I was like, you know what, this would look kind of cool. There's a lot of wildlife around here. It's kind of neato. So, and I mean, that is a pretty solid piece of concrete. So, kind of neat. Look, I'm warming up to it. Rotary, if you're listening. But outside of that, I've got nothing else. So we'll move on to John.
I have nothing to add today.
I have nothing.
Nothing. Dave, honorary.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that at the last council meeting, I just made the same remarks that we've done a lot of hard work in this room, and I really appreciate staff, and I really appreciate you guys for doing that. We are at the precipice of getting to the start of us having a really, really impressive park system. And what it's gonna take this year is a lot of hard work, and it's gonna take staff doing the hard work. And so I just want to make sure that our staff is aware that if we buckle down this year, we will have one of the best park systems in the area. And that means a lot to me. We have come a long ways, and we've really buckled down here in this room and out there in the field. and it's going to take a lot of work. But if we do that and we focus on the things that we've talked about in this room, we really have the opportunity to have a really impressive park system. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank our staff, but I also want to challenge everyone that it doesn't just get done on its own. So we have to take pride in it. We have to go out there. We have to do the work. And I think it starts with you guys setting the policies and procedures, and then it's staff going and doing the work and then coming back with the challenges. So the more communication, the more items we can have in place that says, this is when we do this is when we do this is why that didn't get done, the less hiccups we'll have. But I truly believe that if we really do the work this summer, we're going to have a really impressive park system. So thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. There are, a lot of active agreements, a lot of things going on in the system, which is great, and so a lot to keep up with. But like I said, I appreciate it too. I mean, it's significantly better than even last year. So even pushing 6 to 8 months. But we will be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.